Okay, guys. If I clicked all the right things, we should be live, and I welcome you. Sorry it's taken me forever, but hey, this is just one of the things that happens. It's the way it works, the way it goes. So, can't do anything about that. When McAfee Safe Connect hijacks my computer, it takes me 40 minutes easily to get everything up and going, which is exactly what happened tonight. But I'm still going to make use of some of the time that I have here tonight. I want to talk about the debate that's coming up, and I still got things I got to click on here. So let's see what all this is about. But anyway, there's some things I want to talk about here tonight. Make sure YouTube is going. Says it is. Okay. I'm going to talk about the debate with the time that I have remaining and discuss some issues. I am actually using a new mic. So that's what I've got on here. So I'm going to be testing that out a little bit. It's one that I want to use for our debates so that we have good audio. We often hear people say, well, you know, the audio is not so great. So I'm trying that tonight. So this is a beta test for the Alvoxcon, I don't know, 310 Pro or something like that. Anyway, so we're going to give that a shot and see what's going on. So I might test the sound level a time or two here before we get too wound up and just see the way this works and how it sounds and so forth. So if just a real quick comment. If you hear this crackling or something, or sound doesn't sound very good, let me know. Make a comment or something. I'll try to watch for that. Other than that, this is what... Oh, well, I got to do this. This is what we are preparing for. This is a debate that will take place this Saturday and Sunday. The time is 3 p.m. each day. This is at the Pantheon Theater in Vincennes, Indiana, at 428 Main Street, Vincennes, Indiana. The zip code's 47591. It will be live. You can come and we would love to have you there with us to experience all this, you know, right there. But if you can't, the second best thing is to watch on Facebook, just like you would tonight, or on Restoration Movement 2.0 on YouTube. So we're going to do our best to get that live streamed. At least it'll be on Facebook. I'm pretty sure we can simulcast to both. So we'll see how that goes. So we certainly love to have you there. The man we will be debating is named Eric Gerstbacher. You see him right here. Let's see if I can enlarge that. Okay, so that's him. We're going to Steve and I will be debating Eric Gerstbacher. I hope I'm saying his name right. See if we can show you our affirmatives here. So, so you can check that out, and we certainly love to have you do that. So, let me switch this over here. So you can see while I'm talking. You've got me, obviously on there, the Steve Baisden, and Eric Gerstbacher. So you might be asking yourself, what is up with that? Apparently I hit the camera or something. I don't know what's going on. So you might be saying, well, what is going on with that? Well, here's what's going on with that. Why are there two preachers? Why me and Steve? Well, I had challenged Eric to a debate. Oh, we'll say, I don't know, it's been back in the fall sometime. So anyway, I challenged him to a debate, and it didn't pan out for us to do it as soon as we wanted to. Well, we talked about it and went back and forth a little bit on Facebook about it, and he was also making some other posts, which Steve saw. So Steve challenged him to a debate. Well, Eric says, bring forth your best centurion, or whatever it was he said. I've never talked to him physically, so I'm not trying to mock him. I'm just using this is the other guy talking voice. Anyway, so Steve and I looked at each other and were like, okay. So Steve had the bright idea, why don't we just both debate it? You do one night, I'll do the other. So I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. Now, to my knowledge, this has never been done before. Two preachers against one preacher. I'm sure it has at some point, but I don't know about it. So that might be interesting. If you all can know of anything like that, hey, that'd be kind of fun to know about it. But I'm going to take Saturday night. Now, Saturday night, I will be in the affirmative, and Eric will be in the negative. And the proposition is, Jesus and the apostles taught his second and final coming would occur within the first century generation. I am going to affirm that. Eric is in the negative. Now, there's been a little bit of dispute over whether or not Eric has to answer any questions that we bring up. I can tell you this. It's up to him. If he chooses to not answer any questions that we bring up, or answer any of the points that are brought up, either by me or Steve, then that's up to him. That's not debate protocol, obviously, but that's up to him, and would not be a very good thing, by the way, for him. But hey, that's up to him. So it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with this. This is his first debate, and as I told him today, we're not here to beat up on him. We don't hate him. I told him I love him. He's my brother. And I disagree with him on eschatology. The eschatology thing is a big deal because a lot of people ask me, well, why bother teaching eschatology if it's not a salvation issue? Well, it can be a salvation issue. I'll say this. The reason I say it can be a salvation issue is because I have noticed that eschatology brings out and reveals the heart of a person. If a person has a good enough and honest heart, they're going to say, well, whatever the truth is, we'll follow that. That's the right attitude. But most people are stuck in their indoctrination, and they will defend it to the grave, knowing that they're wrong and that they can't defend it, and yet they will. And it doesn't matter if it's eschatology or soteriology or pneumatology, for that matter. It's just the way people are made, I guess, or made themselves into, or something. I don't know, but that's what they do, and it's actually pretty sad. Now, I said all that to make a point, but anyway, so we are here to debate this, okay? Isaiah, 42:10 or something like that. Bring forth your strong arguments. That's what we're going to do. We're bringing forth our strong arguments. Now, the funny thing about this, and these strong arguments and this debate, I actually made a post. You may have seen it on Facebook. If not, go to my Facebook page and comment away. And I asked the question, how did I actually state this? Let me look it up real quick because it should be right there. So I asked the question. I said, why does the modern Church of Christ believe it's wrong to debate preterists but not Baptists? Hypocritical? So there's the question. Here we are, and we're going to debate a topic that is weighty, it's meaty, it's not milk. We can talk about, actually I think all of the gospel is all of the Bible is pretty weighty. But, there are things that are obvious, don't kill people. You shouldn't be a murderer. You should not steal things. You should, don't take another man's wife, that kind of stuff. Okay? But these are things that are of importance, it's extreme importance. All of it is, I get that. But this is extremely important because it's truth. And a lot of people say, well, why does it even matter? Because it's truth. That's why it matters. And I'm going to give Eric here some credit, because here's this young man. I don't know how old he is. I know he's got a wife and kids. I'm going to say he's late 30s, maybe mid 30s. But Here's a man who's willing to stand up for what he believes. Now, you've got these seasoned preachers that have these big names in the Church of Christ, and they're not willing to do it. I say shame on them. And, you got a big name preacher who says, well, the only way I'll debate you is in a written debate. Yeah, that's called keyboard courage. Stand up and debate. Go back and forth. Bring forth your strong arguments. And this one preacher, it just sickens me how they are, guys. I'm sorry, but it sickens me. They're willing to debate a Baptist any day of the week, but they will not debate a preterist, especially a member of the Church of Christ who is a preterist. Why is that? Why is it that they will debate anybody else? If the Pope himself said, yeah, I'll debate you, they would do it in a heartbeat. Might be a little nervous about it, but they would do it. But when it comes to us little old preterists, us who believe that Jesus actually meant what he said and followed through with it in the time frame that he said he would do it, they're a little afraid about that, aren't they? I wonder why that is. Well, we know why it is. It's because they're afraid. They see the truth of this. See, this is what I was talking about. Preterism reveals the heart of people. And it was the exact same way in the first century. I want you to think about this. So in Acts chapter 17, Paul goes to the synagogue in Thessalonica. Okay, he's going to talk to Jews. These weren't Gentiles. He's going to talk to Jews. God's people, right? And he goes in there and he starts from the Scriptures proving that Jesus was the Messiah, and if he taught anything, he taught the hope of Israel, which was resurrection. And Paul taught that resurrection was going to take place in the first century. All we've got to do is read what he taught. And he taught that that was going to happen. Now, when he taught from the Scriptures and proved from the Scriptures that Jesus was Messiah, he invariably had to say he's coming back. Now, look at the reaction that the Thessalonians had. They wanted to kill Paul because he told them the truth. They didn't like it. It wasn't their paradigm. It wasn't how they were raised. It's not what their indoctrination was. And they were willing to defend it not only to their deathbed, but to Paul's. And then they were going to hasten Paul's death pretty quick. So, you get the point? Nothing's changed with people today who are just so willing to not look at the truth and not give it an honest hearing. Eric's not that way. Eric is standing up. And you want to know something? His moderator, well, we call him a moderator, his second, however you want to put it, is driving 5 hours, never met the man. Calvin Schlaball is his name. Calvin has never met Eric, but Eric actually had to post online to find someone to help him. His own brethren wouldn't even help him. What a disgrace and a shame for those men who, hello, they've got the truth, but no, they're not going to stand up and defend what they believe. You know something? If they're not going to stand up and defend what they believe in live, public, oral, formatted debate, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Well, I know lots of things to say. I'll be here the rest of the night talking about that. Anyway, so I'm in the affirmative. Eric is in the negative. So we'll see how he deals with this. It's his first debate, and I said, hey, brother, we're there to help you with this. Obviously, we're not going to help him with his arguments. I mean, that's between him and Calvin and God. But we want this to be equitable. What is it with everybody? I'm not saying Eric is this way, but what is it with all these people who are the only people on the planet that have the truth, and yet they're not willing to defend it in live, public, oral, formatted debate? They're not willing to. And I'll tell you why this is better, by the way, than a written debate. Because you get the man, you get the flavor of the man, and you get to see him for who he is, and you can see his tactics. There's lots of so-called Christians on Facebook. They're nothing but trolls, nothing but trolls. They do nothing but try to cause problems. They will never, ever fairly represent you and your beliefs. They take screenshots and they take it out of context and they won't ever let you finish. And, they tell you what you believe. They're horrible people. They are not good Christians. I'm sorry to say that, but they're not. And then they want to say, oh, well, you come down and we'll debate and you can come to my house. I'm going to tell you, that's a nice offer. But I don't trust them. I don't trust them, I do not trust them because of how they treat people. You can't be a Christian and treat people like that. That's just simply the way it is. Now, Sunday, Steve is going to be in the negative, in Eric's affirmative, which is, and he amended this, he agreed to amend this because I should have brought this up earlier, but I just figured, well, it's his affirmative. So we asked him to amend it, and he said, yeah, sure, fine. So he amended it to read, the Scriptures teach Jesus' final coming is yet for future. So it's just a technicality. But that way, ours was specific, and that leaves his specific. So he will be affirming that Jesus, the Bible teaches that Jesus is going to come in the future. So I say, good luck to him. I was in that position for many years, and many years, the largest portion of my life, actually. And it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years ago, 2017, so it's about 5 years ago, about 4.5, something like that, that I finally couldn't deal with seeing all of these passages all the time and just ignoring them. So I relented to the truth. And anyway, I was in his position trying to find a yet future coming of Jesus. I could not find it. I preached that for many years, and I believed it for many years. But there just comes this point where Jesus says it. What are you going to do with it? He says, I'm coming in your lifetime. It's not my lifetime. I didn't live 2,000 years ago. I'm not one of those 2,000-year-old people. By the way, there are people who would actually rather believe that there are 2,000-year-old people alive today waiting for the coming of Jesus who were around in the first century when he said that to them, than they would just admit that it happened back then. Wow. Anyway, that's real. It's a fact. I've heard him. Anyway, so he's got his affirmative and his work cut out for him. Now, Steve will be in the negative. Steve will answer his questions, and he will answer them very handily. I guarantee you that. However, if you listen to the trolls, every one of them say, well, I listened to your debate. One guy tells me today, I don't remember his name. I listened to your debate. Keep in mind, this is my other guy talking voice. I listened to your debate with Ron Daly, and he handled you very nicely. No, he didn't. He did not. That guy did not listen to that debate. I love Brother Ron. I've known him for many, many, many years. But he stumbled all over himself trying to explain away the simple words of Jesus. I love him. I wish him well. But he's wrong about eschatology. I love Eric. I wish him well. But he's wrong about eschatology. And if, I'll say this, and I'll go on the record, and I know Steve Bazin will say exactly the same thing. If Eric can come up with convincing proof, if his strong argument is convincing, I will change. I've done it before on several weighty issues, and I will do it again. Because simply put, I just want the truth. That's all there is to it. Steve is exactly the same way. Steve just wants the truth. Y'all are afraid of Steve Bazin? There's no reason to be afraid of Steve Bazin. You're afraid of the truth. Steve handles the truth accurately, and he wields the truth skillfully, and that's what you're afraid of. There's no reason to be afraid of Steve Bazin. Steve Bazin is one of the most honest and sincere men and a man who loves the Lord as I have ever seen, bar none. You're not going to find any person more dedicated to the Lord than Steve Baisden. There are a lot of people out there like him, but Steve Baisden, I mean, that have that level of love, and Steve is definitely one of them. So you say what you will about Steve, and you put him down, and you say whatever you want, but I'll tell you otherwise because I know better. Now, so that is essentially where we're at on this. So this gives me a chance to come back here and check. I want to say hey to a few people because I know I got started late, very late actually. So hey to everybody. I see Mark and Pat and Richard and who am I? Amanda and Tim and I know I'm missing people. Ruth Ann and Rick. Hey guys, I am so thankful that you're watching. Share the video and get the message out. We are doing the best we can. Got to remember not to mess with that. That'll mess up that mic there. Anyway, so I want to point something out. Okay, so Eric asked me a couple questions. So hopefully Eric is watching. Now I don't remember what they were. So I'm going to try to address these questions in brief. I'm not going to give him all the answers, but I am going to give him some of these answers because, it's reasonable. I want him to... Where's this at? Here we go. I want him to make a strong argument. Okay? I'm not trying to hide the truth. So let me find these questions that he asked. I mean, he tells me, he sends me, I'm going to destroy your proposition. Okay, that's what this is about. If you can destroy my proposition, then let's do it. But I'm still having a hard time finding these questions. Nope. Sorry to look on my phone while I'm trying to do this. Okay, here they are. He asks me, the first question he asks me, what do you believe about, what do you believe, it must be just like a typo or something. What do you believe about the resurrection? Was it the church from Judaism? Or what was it? I don't want to misunderstand or misrepresent you. Well, if he doesn't misrepresent me, he'll be one of the very few. Okay? So this remains to be seen. I'm putting some faith and trust in you, Eric, not to do that. So here's what I believe about the resurrection. In a nutshell, that the resurrection was promised to take place in the first century. Jesus and the apostles taught the resurrection. Paul taught the resurrection would take place in the first century. Every time the apostles are opening their mouths and Jesus is opening his mouth, the resurrection is posited in the first century. Now, whatever you want to make that resurrection, you can't get it out of the first century. So, if you want to say it's the church coming out of Judaism, which I could make some arguments about that, yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think that's it exclusively. I think there was something that takes place. We'll get into this probably more in the debate, but the resurrection was the righteous remnant becoming this bride of Christ. You have people in Sheol who are released. They go from death to life. That's resurrection. It's not a physical resurrection. So there you go. The second question, I think there's just two. Also, what do you understand about the Lord's Supper being till He come? Do you believe you can just take it still because it's a good thing if you want to? Not only do I think it's a good thing, I think it's eternally commanded. It's an eternal principle or concept or teaching of the church. So, yeah, we teach that the Lord's Supper should be taken, not optional, every first day of the week, just like I always have. Now, I will say this. When it comes to the Lord's Supper, and there's a whole lot more I could say about this. We'll reserve a lot of that for the debate, but this is just a point of clarification. Simple question, simple answer. When it comes to the Lord's Supper, I understand things a whole lot clearer now than I used to in regards to this. Because now I understand the blood of Jesus in a way that that I didn't before. I mean, before the blood was a physical thing. Now I understand the spiritual component to it as well. And you can't leave that out. But most people do. Which Jesus spoke about in regards to the Lord's Supper. So I think those are two pretty good questions. So no, I don't think it's just optional. I think that it's something that is there, and it's an eternal principle. Okay, what else do we have here? Please let me know so I don't miss any of those things. He always, whenever he sends me messages, he'll say things at the end like, "Thanks, may the sun shine brightly on your soul." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I wish this same for him and everybody else. Okay, what else do we have here? I'm trying to look through this. No. Okay, so here's the way this is going to be formatted, by the way, this debate. By the way, how's the audio sounding? Do we have any... Hey, Scott clapped. Hey to you there, brother. Great to see you. Great to know that you are up and about. That's answered prayers there for sure. I don't know how I missed you earlier, but maybe you just signed in. But either way, glad to have you. I hope the audio is good because this is a completely new. I hate to use untested and untried equipment on the fly like that, but hey, this is the way it worked. So we want to have good audio. We want people to hear. We want people to see. This place that we're having the debate's really cool. It's an old theater built in the teens. They were playing silent movies in this place. It was a vaudeville theater. It had one of the stars that performed there, among many others, was Red Skelton. I don't know if you know who he is, but if you have much culture, you know it. You figure that one out. That's weird. It switches back and forth from camera to camera. Oh well. Anyway, so it's like this shell kind of thing with the acoustics are supposed to be so good that you can just speak and everybody can hear you. It's going to be neat. So I like that kind of stuff. But what's going to be even better is the fact that okay, wow. Sorry, my camera's all messed up here. Is the fact that we're bringing forth our strong arguments and we're going to do this debate. 30-minute speeches. So I'll speak for 30 minutes. Eric will rebut for 30 minutes or whatever he chooses to do. I'll speak for another 30 minutes. Eric will rebut for another 30 minutes. So I start out Saturday. He ends Saturday. So I get the first word. He gets the last word. Now, that flips around. On Sunday, he gets to start with his affirmative and Steve will rebut for 30 minutes. Then he'll come back with another 30-minute speech, and then Steve will rebut for another 30 minutes. So Steve gets the last word. We were going to do, and I'm kind of sad we're not doing this, but and Eric had suggested, at the end of Saturday, after we're done, and then at the end of Sunday when we were done, to exchange 5 questions. Well, we're not going to do that anyway. He said, well, we'll just exchange 5 questions and we'll just allow 1 minute to answer them. I'm like, okay. It's just as hard for me to answer a big question in 1 minute as it is him. But I'm game. I'll give it a shot. And we're not going to do that now. So maybe he'll change his mind, maybe not. But I just left that up to him. By the way, this is 100% supported by the congregation that I preach at, the Westside Church of Christ in Indianapolis. And Steve is pitching in his congregation to pay for the facility. Steve's doing this on his own dime to come down and spend time away from work, away from home to do this. And I'd have to make this clear. The congregations in the local area have totally, they've just stepped back. And what I mean by that is, think about the line of all the soldiers, and sergeant asks for, or their CO asks for a volunteer, and one guy's left in front while everybody steps back. Well, that's exactly what they did. So Calvin Slayball really stepped up. Tells you the kind of guy that he is, and the kind of guy Eric is to do this. How about let's address something else here? I know there's some things that Eric wants to talk about, so I'm going to help him out. Acts chapter 1. So in Acts chapter 1, Eric and the modern-day traditional churches of Christ, and the Baptists, and the Pentecostals, and the Catholics, and every other denomination teaches exactly the same thing. One of these days, Jesus is going to return exactly the way that he left. So in Acts chapter 1, they do this. They also said, verse 11, no, let me go back to 9. After he had said these things while he was lifted up, they were looking on, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And as they were gazing intently into the sky, while he was going, behold, 2 men in white clothing stood beside them, and they also said, Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into the sky? This Jesus, John Welch said, this same Jesus, who had been taken up from you into heaven, will come in the same way as you have watched him go into heaven. And the argument is made that he's coming back the same way that he left. So here's my question to Eric and to anybody else. Okay? Are you really sure you want to stick with that narrative? Scott, I wish you could come too. Brother, we just miss you like crazy. And you gave us a real scare. I'm telling you right now. So we're just praising the Lord for you and your wonderful wife. You guys are just an absolute blessing too. Anyway, so do you really want to go there? I hope that he does. I hope he does. Now, see, it is not my duty in the affirmative, nor is it his when he's in the affirmative, to answer questions that I bring up. He should. I mean, there are some things you just really don't want to let go, but I hope he brings this up. This is going to be good stuff. Okay. What about let's see here. How about let's go to 2 Corinthians 5 for a minute. Okay, and I know he'll probably bring this one up. All right. So in 2 Corinthians 5, doesn't it teach us that there is a day of judgment that is prepared for this, right? For those who, anyway, there's a day of judgment coming. What's the day of judgment? Do you want to go there? Yeah. I'm good with that. Because judgment was prophesied to come in the first century. And for some reason, people have it coming somewhere in the future. Well, let me say this. You are judged while you're alive, by the way. Did you get that? While you are alive, you are judged. And you go from life to death while you're alive. Paul said in Romans chapter 7, well, I used to be dead, but now I'm alive. What do you reckon he meant by that? He's not talking about something physical. Everything is physical with these guys. Physical this, physical that, physical this, physical that. Everything's physical. So, where'd that come from? Isn't that, and even, isn't Romans 7 a picture of Adamic death? Yes, it is. So I once was dead, but now I'm alive. So how do you deal with that? Here's how you deal with it. You got to go back to the beginning, which I'm sure that we'll get to. I'm just trying not to give. Here's some tidbits for you, okay? We'll just give you a general idea. Now, one of the things that Eric is going to need to know is that Jesus taught that he would return in their lifetime. He taught it many, many times. So I'm sure that'll be brought up at least to some degree. Jesus taught that. How are you going to deal with that? Jesus taught that he would come back in their lifetime. Was he wrong? You know, a lot of people say, well, yeah, there are, let me talk in my other guy talking voice. Yeah, Jesus was, he was just mistaken. After all, he didn't know the day or the hour. Okay, really? All right, well, if you want to go there, we'll discuss that in live, public, formatted debate. Oral, public, formatted debate. Whatever order you want to put that in. Okay, well, what about some other fun things? Now, what about this verse? Let me read a verse here. All right? And this just crushes preterism. LOL, exclamation point. Revelation 1 and verse 7, behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn over him. So it is to be. Amen. Now, since I didn't see Jesus Christ coming in the clouds of heaven, why am I a preterist? Really? You want to go there? Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be real fun, actually. So, did everybody see Jesus? Was that the point? Okay. Now, what about, hey, here's a good one since we're here. What about Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1? The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his bondservants the things which must soon take place. Now, as far as I know, Eric believes that Revelation was written before 70. He does not believe, as far as I know, I'm not trying to misrepresent him, just what I know. He was not trying, or he does not believe that everything in Revelation was fulfilled by 70. It was just written by 70. And I read somewhere that he said that all books were written before 70 because none of them mentioned the destruction of Jerusalem. You know what I say about that? He's got that right. So let's find something else that's fun. How about Romans 8? So in Romans 8, you've got the creation groaning and longing for the coming of the Lord. All things being set back right. You've got mortal bodies, right, being resurrected. Life comes to them. Boy, I guess I should give up right now and not even be a preterist anymore. Not. Romans 8 is not a big deal. Unless you're indoctrinated to think that it's physical, that everything's physical. So, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. So, how about that? You know, here's another one. Oh yeah, how about this? How about the fact that the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the gifts of the Spirit, ended in the first century? That one thing alone, all by itself, is the nail, the final nail in the coffin of futurism. If you study that out, you cannot come to any other conclusion than when the gifts cease, the Lord returns. You can't do it. Maybe we'll talk about that too. I don't know. So there's lots of good things that are going to be coming up. Now here's the thing, okay? Since I got such a late start, I went over a little bit. I know that, but I'm gonna end here just a second. But here's the thing about all this, okay? So let me do this. So this debate, right? Okay, I'm gonna get this back up here. So you can take a screenshot of this and you know what to do. Oh, that was the wrong screen. I hit F11 on. What did I do? Oh, really? Let's try this again. There we go. So, sorry. Yeah, I'm great at technology. Now let's try this. There we go. That's what I was after. So you can take a screenshot of that, and if you need to, my phone number's on the bottom. If you have questions about how to get there or whatever, give me a call. I'll be staying overnight. Obviously, I'm not going to make the drive back and forth. That's just too much to do. So we would love to have you come and be part of this. The whole point of all this, and the whole point about eschatology, and I know there's people out there who say, that's all you ever talk about. No, it's not. You hear me talk about it on Tuesday night for 1 hour. You should hear me talk about it for hours upon hours, and include soteriology, and prove the plan of salvation, illustrate what baptism is. When I'm talking to people in personal Bible studies or online, and yes, it happens a lot. So all you people out there, you never talk about anything other than AD 70. That's not true. You don't. How can you say that? You don't even know. But anyway, so there's the information. Take a screenshot of that, enlarge it, and all that information is there for you. That's this Saturday and Sunday, 3 p.m. in Vincennes at the Pantheon Theater. There's the address, 428 Main Street in Vincennes, Indiana. 47591. We're going to start at 3 p.m. All right? Sunday, after, here's something that's going to create some concern. Not for us. After we attend services with as yet to be determined congregation, we're going to be back there again to follow up with the Steve on the second day. So here's one thing you're going to see. You're going to see unity between Steve and I. We preach the same message. It's awesome. It's fantastic. Get two futurist preachers together and have them talk about some of these weighty matters. They're all over the board. They have, yeah, this is how they are. So yeah, that would be fun. But maybe that's going to turn out great. This is all about the glory to God. To bring forth the strong argument, right? To let God be true and every man a liar. This is all about glory to God and His plan. You can't take eschatology out of His plan. You just can't do it and have His plan. Eschatology was the plan. But you think about this, eschatology is the end. It's the goal. Well, that's more telos, but it's the goal. It's where all of this stuff comes in its culmination. Everybody gets that. Jesus gave us the timeline for that. So did His apostles. Alrighty, that's about it. I'm going to close up shop here for tonight. Go spend some time with my lovely wife before I have to... don't do that. Before I have to call it a night and hit it hard again next week. Hey, I just want to say that I love you all. Hey, you keep studying. You find your way to the Lord. If eschatology leads you to that, and that's fantastic. That's what it's for. If you're looking for a more simple approach to things, of course, I've never seen this. Every person I have ever studied with says they want to start in the book of Revelation. Well, maybe not every single one, but they want to talk about prophecy, and they're very concerned about it. So you're going to tell me that eschatology is not important? Right. Okay, so we'll see you next week. That's pretty much all that I've got. I'm going to... Actually, see, I should have had this ready to go here, so I'm going to find this. I'm going to play some music because that's what I do. And the reason I do that is because it lets me know when to hit the button to cancel, turn everything off. So and it's hard to talk and type at the same time. All right, so let's pick a good song here for y'all. I think I've done these before. Okay, so I got to find a good one. How about, see, I play the same ones often because I pull up the same program. I think this one's good. There are some songs you really shouldn't sing from an eschatological standpoint, and I don't have all those memorized, so hopefully this is a good one. So we'll play this one, and we'll let this take us out of here this evening. Hey, love you all, and we will see you the next time. Okay? So have a good night.
As I'm onward bound, Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. Lord, lift me up and let me stand by faith on heaven's stable land. Higher plane than I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. My heart has no desire to stay where doubts arise and fears display. No song may swell where these abound.
Well, actually, this is not the greatest song. You're not going to heaven. You receive it while you're alive. I guess it's realized after physical death, but hey, technicality.
Still I'll stay.